We're out here in Dripping Springs, Texas, where we built one of the most elegant red iron bolt ups.
We got an all gray building, interior paneling, glass overhead door, and polished concrete.
Let's check it out.
Alrighty guys, part 2 of this beautiful, elegant 30 by 50, 1,500 square feet. First part, we talked about the concrete, everything that went into it. And now we're gonna take it and hand it off to Jared. Actually, Jared, I'm just gonna let you go off because I know you're pretty good on the YouTube channel now. Jared, take it off.
All right, I just wanna start the video by apologizing for part 1. Concrete is very boring, sorry. So what people really showed up here for is for this 30 by 50. It's 15 foot tall to the eaves. Really, the roof, the trim, everything is charcoal. The only thing, and I think it stands out, I mean, can't really see it much from the road, right? But from the B-rolls, the drone shots, and just by, you know, the look of it, it's this black glass door. And it's really nice because the best thing I like about it is obviously what you can see right now, it's reflective.
The reflection, man.
You know, so there's so many different options on, you know, the glass option. You can get, I think it's like frosted, like reverse, like see-through fully. So that's completely your choice, but you can't see anything
inside, right?
Inside, and when you're outside, you're also, or I'm sorry, inside the building, you can't see anything outside.
I can't see anything, man.
Yeah, you can't see through, you can't see out. So it's a really, really nice door. It's a 20 by 14 door.
So in the inside, you can't see outside?
Nothing.
Not on this one?
No, you can't see anything.
No.
Yeah, I was telling
Wow.
Willie, I was like, imagine you're in the building and someone just like drives up here. You can't see them.
You can use it to check yourself out a little bit.
It's so beautiful. And this is what makes, I think, the building elegant, because it doesn't have that 2-foot overhang that we do offer, but it matches with his home as well because he doesn't have any overhang. But I think that's what makes this building just really stand out. It's so like a minimalistic design with something that just makes
Pops.
you look at pop. Yeah,
it just
and that's
pops.
gonna be this glass door, because this glass door is definitely a lot of moolah. But it's definitely something that I think it gives a lot of value to the property.
I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
You know, just from
Beautiful.
driving up, that's the first thing.
First thing.
You know, you really don't look much at the building. It's the glass door that pops. From here, he went, I mean, you're going to see it on the inside. He went minimalistic on the outside.
But the inside.
You know what I mean? The inside is really, really nice, right? But minimalistic on the outside, but then with the huge, you know, overhead door.
And we're about to go in the inside because there's a lot of cool things. And I don't want to like ruin it yet, but interior paneling.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about none of this drainage system here.
Hey, but we got the polished concrete, right, Willie?
Yeah, we got the polished concrete.
And that
Inside.
is beautiful. Alrighty, Pack. Now, for the building, the price comes out to, that covers the full pre-engineered red iron bolt-up structure. This also comes with all 26 gauge PBR panels, the frames painted black, including not just the I-beams, but also all the purlins and girts. This also includes all the equipment, and that's also materials and delivery. Everything there in this price. But Jared, talk to me. So this is a red iron bolt up, right?
It's a bolt up.
So we had to embed the bolts on the concrete the day of the pour. We were in charge of that on the concrete side, right?
Right, we had to come back and inspect them
Inspect them, set the bolts.
with the templates.
Yeah, with the templates. So that's really important for a bolt up, is that they're embedded, so they're wet set. Then from there, that's where the frame came in. And
So I'll stop you real quick. Well, there's two types. For this one, we did wet set, but there is the other option of like epoxy anchors. We try to avoid that, but that can also be the case. You know, so something to think about if you're wanting to do like a bolt-up building. Don't get your slab first and then try to figure the building out later.
No.
You know, it's a package. You know.
And that's even for the weld up as well, because we like to embed the
Weld
plates during the pour. So that way it grabs from the, you know, when your concrete's still wet, and then when it dries, it just all one solid and it's a lot more sturdier. It's very important that before you even start your, because we've had, you know, some clients that call and say, hey, my building's already set, or my concrete, now I want to buy the building. And it's like, hey, do you have the, if you're doing the weld up, do you already have the weld plates? Oh, no. Oh, okay. So now we got to do a different process, which is just, we can still do it, but, you know, at the same time, you can't be wet set, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also like you don't even know what type of framing we're gonna put, you know,
Yeah,
like are the beams
that is
20, 25, 15, you know, so you can set some embed plates, but what if it doesn't match up with the framing plan of the building,
Yep.
you know, so that's also a thing, right? What's the difference between a weld-up building and a bolt-up building? A weld-up, imagine we're getting raw materials delivered to the site. So, you know, to make the truss of a building for a 40 wide on a 312 pitch, it's like, you know, you use a 40-foot beam, right? If it's inside. But let's say you use a 40-foot beam. You get a 40-foot beam delivered, and then you cut everything, you're welding everything, you're fabricating it on site, you know, and you're manufacturing the whole building. You know, you're welding your weld clips on, everything. And it's a little bit more time consuming as far as the framing process goes, because, you know, on the weld up, you're, like I said, you're doing everything. The bolt up, imagine what happens is all that, you know, raw material, because it's the same material, right?
Yeah.
It's just getting delivered to a shop. That's where they taper beams or they weld clips on, you know, and those clips, it comes
Basically
with
create a kit, right?
Yeah, you're creating a kit to where it's kind of like, you know, you just get on site, everything's already welded, and you're just bolting together. So there's still a lot of welding that goes on a bolt up. The only difference is that it's pretty much ready to go to where you're only bolting on site. All the welding's already been done in the shop. So usually it's a little faster on the framing process. Sheet metal process is the same for both.
Same for both. So that's the differences in the construction. This was a bolt up. I know we got some B-rolls because we were out here during the bolt up process, the construction phase of the building as well. As far as like which one's better, Jared?
Well, I'll start with this. So actually this customer, oddly enough, we're in Dripping Springs and there was no permitting. You know, this customer had no permitting process.
No permitting
There was no
process.
permits required.
Not even HOA, I think, because there wasn't really any restrictions here. No HOAs? Nope, no HOA.
Yeah, so the only difference is that this customer specifically wanted a bolt-up. You know, he didn't want a non-engineered weld-up, and he didn't want an engineered weld-up either. No, he wanted a bolt-up.
We're going to talk about the differences between both of them. I know we're talking a lot, but we just want to really help and educate. So keep going, Jared, sorry.
As far as which one's better, it's tough to say. I'll say this, an engineered weld-up and an engineered bolt-up, they're both meant to meet the same local codes, wind codes, you know, and you can also get it engineered, let's say for, you know, different purposes. You know, you can up your collateral loads, all that stuff, it's gonna be engineered the same way, you know what I mean? It's just a different type of connection, right? As far as an engineered weld-up and an engineered bolt-up. The thing is with the non-engineered weld-up, that's where you might have a difference. Let's say, I'll say this, an engineered weld-up versus a non-engineered weld-up, the difference is there's an engineer kind of reviewing the building and telling us what type of material to use. So they'll say, hey, for this case, you're gonna use 12 by 20 I-beams. 20-foot centers, 8-inch Z-purlins on the roof, 6-inch Z-purlins on the sides. And technically, you can say, okay, well, that's how a 30 by 50 was constructed, right? It's more like I-beams for like a 40, right? But, you know, for a non-engineered weld-up, you can technically build it the exact same way, you know what I mean? The only difference is you don't have that engineered stamp. So it's a little tough to say. To me, engineered bolt-ups and weld-ups are technically the same thing because they're engineered for the same codes. A non-engineered weld-up, you know, there's just, you know, you can build it as strong as, right? There's just not someone to say, hey, yeah, that's as strong as, you know? There's just no number to put because you're not getting an engineer involved.
Not getting an engineer involved. And that's actually what you'll see more out there is just, if you see a lot of red iron, especially if they're welded, most of the time, they're just non-engineered. There's really not an engineer behind it. Doesn't mean that the building is gonna collapse. Man, non-engineered weld-ups have been around for so many years. probably longer than tubular buildings.
You can, I mean, you like a non-engineered weld-up building, you can build it with, beef it up as much as you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, it doesn't mean it's gonna collapse. It just means that there's not an engineer looking at it.
Yeah,
you know?
it doesn't necessarily, it means that basically it doesn't mean that it will meet any your local code, okay? That's all it just means. But the way most builders that I see out there, I mean, these buildings last for a long, long time.
I will say though, that's where, you know, when you don't get an engineer involved, that's where it's a little tricky, and you kind of got to rely on the company you're using. Some will try to go thinner on your beams, or, you know, try to span less on your purlins or more on your purlins. So
If you don't have an engineer involved, then you must trust your builder.
that's kind of the thing there.
Talk to me, man. Look at this. I just love the nose screws on this U-trim all the way around.
Well, there's screws, but they're through here,
Through here.
and it's a flathead.
Exposed.
Yeah, there's no exposed, so it kind of looks very, very unique.
All gray. This is 26 gauge panels with the 40-year paint warranty. And then the gutter system, which is the same material as the paneling that we use for the building.
Yeah, that's the beauty about
Red
whenever
iron in
your
general.
red iron, whenever your gutters are being made out of the same material, it's
Matches.
seamless, you know,
Seamless.
right there.
Yep. Oh, it's just
With
beautiful.
tubular, it's a little bit more difficult because it's sheet metal, and then you bring in an aluminum gutter,
Aluminum gutter.
you know, and that's different colors.
So here, Willie, I know this was poured after, right? So we did the approach as we were doing in the first part. We talked a little bit about it, but I didn't mention it. So this came afterwards, right?
Right.
All the way out to here. I can see the difference. So this was, we poured the approach, the driveway, and this nice,
Little piece of sidewalk.
sidewalk after the foundation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was after the foundation, kind of to have, you know, there's the elevation difference here for that door. Like we were talking on the other side.
Yeah.
There's a door here, so we decided to put a piece of sidewalk here. That way he has a smooth transition in and out.
In and out. Now, the reason why we did the approach, you know, separately from the driveway and the approach separately from the main foundation is because we had to use equipment. So that's something to keep in mind, that if we're going to be using equipment to put up the building, we usually want to do the approach, the driveway afterwards, because that equipment, you know, is still heavy and it could definitely crack. We've had cracks on approaches, driveways. So our system changed. So we created a new system where we do come back afterwards and do that afterwards.
Right.
A lot of times also they leave tire marks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it gets a little bit dirty from all the construction, you know, and
Yeah.
obviously, you know, having to come back might be a little bit more pricey, but it'll definitely, you know, you protect your approaches or any flat work you want to do connecting to your building, and I think it's the best approach to do.
So this one, like, for example, it would have been less costlier if we would have done the whole thing all at once.
Right.
Okay, so it just went up a little bit more. It's just something to keep in mind, but then again, it's all about the outcome. That's something to keep in mind. Color matching screws, nice base trim all the way around.
All right, enough about concrete. Check out this door. I'm just kidding. It's nice. I like it. I mean, it's a glass door, kind of to match the aesthetics on the front. It was a little bit more challenging because the way it arrived was like a Lego set. So the glass was all separate, everything was separate, and we had to piece it together. So, you know, it's something to consider. You know, you get this type of door where it's a, let's say, Lego set. It might be a little bit more expensive to install your own door. For us, we just like to order now after this one.
A full.
The full door already pre-assembled in the shop, and then, you know, it arrives and we frame out and install it.
If you're gonna bring in your own door, which is totally fine. If it's a Lego set, we might have to charge a little bit more than if it's just a full set. As Jared's mentioning, it's just a little bit more time consuming when it's a Lego set. We gotta do the Lego set, and then on top of that, we gotta frame this whole thing out, shim it out, and make sure that, you know, it works. Man, it's beautiful though. You excited? Come on in. Check this out. Let's start with the overhead door. So this is again the 20 by 14. Man, look at those springs on that.
Yeah, since it's a lot heavier, definitely needs a lot reinforced springs. So if you look at just like a smaller doors, sometimes you only have one spring right? In this case, it's almost like four springs, and then it's a lot heavier, right? And it's all meant to basically hold up the frame, the windows. You know, it's all meant for this type of door.
Look at the hinges, man. This is super sturdy. It comes with this LiftMaster control. And then we always install the side mount.
Yeah, we never do like the top mount.
The top one. So in a residential status, like if you get like you look at your garage at your home, typically it's really up on top. For our buildings, we do the side mount, and that's what you're seeing here. And then again, if it didn't work, you can do it. You can chain roll it if it didn't work. So say it stopped functioning, you can turn it into where you turn it into a manual, and then you can start rolling it up.
Yeah, you disengage the motor, and then that'll allow you to open it. Another thing is, you know, what we were talking about, fully reflective.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't see literally anything outside. And the whole building, I mean, you're gonna see it's got fiberglass, 3-inch fiberglass. Mm-hmm. So the building is insulated, but also so is the overhead door. You know? So it's like kind of like your double pane windows. It's got that argon gas in there.
And it's trapped and it's insulated, and you're also not getting any solar energy, the U factor or whatever the energies we were just talking about. But yeah, because right now I can feel like I'm not feeling the heat from there. I'm feeling, so again, when you insulate the building, what you're basically doing is locking and controlling the energy inside. So what he needs right now is like a small little HVAC system, or like a what do you call the
fans?
A mini split.
You can hang some fans off the
Fans,
building.
or a big fan, a big ass fan. And so we did fiberglass on this one instead of spray foam.
Yeah, the customer, that's why he got the painted frames. So I think he saw our YouTube channel and saw when we did the painted frames, because he originally didn't have that. And that was changed in the processing, where, you know, he was like, hey, I saw it, you know, I got fiberglass, but I want to do it, you know, a black interior frame. And, you know, that was changed after the fact, after the sale.
Yeah, and that's the fiber, because that was for a client in Kerrville. That was so beautiful, the white, you know, with black, and I think that's where this came in. And now, moving on to accessories. This is all the insulation, the gutter system, the beautiful glass door, and including the beautiful service door that comes out to. This includes, again, all those accessories I just mentioned, a 3-inch fiberglass insulation with white backing, the foam gap enclosures, the gutters, and the downspouts, which is all designed to protect and insulate your building, including the beautiful insulated glass door and the service door. So we painted the frames, because the frames usually will be red. And so we painted the frames, which is an additional cost to get it painted, because we painted it on site, get it all blacked out. And that's what makes the fiberglass really stand out. One of the things I love about fiberglass is the fact that if you have to change a panel or anything like that, you can easily, like, you know, just come in and take out the panel and replace it.
Yeah, it's a quick modification. Whereas in spray foam, it, you know, locks everything in, so you're gonna have to take off the panel, but then you also gotta cut off the spray foam and then respray after.
So like, for example, this interior panel, we can imagine this could be drywall or something. It's the only challenge about spray foam is that, you know, say you wanted to switch the panel, how are you gonna spray foam afterwards? You have to take off the interior, whether it's drywall or interior panel, which is right here, what we have is an interior panel. Why did our client wanted the interior panels?
I didn't talk to him directly about that. That was Javier, but from what I'm told is once he got the fiberglass, his concern was the, you know, the white vinyl backing kind of ripping. So he was like, man, I don't want my kids out here and, you know, messing around, and they cut the fiberglass and now it's, you know, you can see the fiber on the, right?
Yeah.
So that's when, you know, he was like, hey, can we add in some interior paneling? And I was like, well, not me, but Javier was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Right, and originally it was only gonna be like to right here. I think it's 7 or 8 feet right around here.
Because this is where we got the line of purlins.
Yeah, it's like 7 feet to right there. And that's when he was like, you know what, let's go to the third row, the interior paneling. So normally it would be right here, but instead we went a little bit taller. The only also funny part is we also painted the purlins here. You know, because it was originally it wasn't supposed to have the interior panels, so the whole frame behind it
It's
is
painted
also
as well.
painted.
But that's an extra layer of protection. Now, for what stands out in the inside, the price for the interior paneling turns out to be, and that again is materials, delivery, and custom installation. I know it's a little hot in here, so we can keep it. We're gonna open the door so you guys can see how well it works, which by the way, I know are notch details. Boom. Just an amazing, amazing door. Damn, beautiful. Now, let's talk about the frame, Jared. So this is the cables that are used to help for lateral control when it comes down to wind.
Yeah, on bolt tubs, it's, you know, bolt tubs and engineered weld-ups, it's cable bracing. Sometimes they do wind columns. And tubulars, it's diagonal bracing. It's made out of, you know, tubing. That's what these are for. And so what we did is we took off the cable bracing to install the panels, then we put them back on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Also really like the lights, you know, the whole lights and everything.
So he's got UFO lights, and if you notice, this is 50 foot long, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you were seeing how we were inside and the type of lighting that was getting. That's with 8 UFO lights on 50 foot length. Now, I know the big elephant in the room. Let's start talking about something that beats the building.
Yeah, definitely it's up there with the door. So is this polished concrete.
This polished concrete, talk to me, Willie. So there's like a nice clear sealant on this down here, polyur or epoxy, polyspartic, polyura epoxy, and then we got polished concrete, right?
Right. They're about the same here, polyurea and polished concrete, in my opinion.
In your opinion, okay. Talk to me about what we did here in this process, because right now what you're seeing is a polished concrete, super shiny, and like the reflection is what's catching my eye a lot here. Like it's just super, super clean. But what was the process of this? Why should someone consider polished concrete?
So the process in getting polished concrete or making your slab into polished concrete is a lot of different settings of different, grinding it down different levels with diamond blades going from your highest grit to your lowest grit. And that's what, you know, it depends also, you know, just because you want to get a polished concrete doesn't mean it's going to be shiny. You got to watch out for your levels. There's 4 levels. You know, the first one's matte. Second one, you know, little shiny, really fancy, shiny finish. And then you got level 4, which is almost like a mirror.
But I think you were telling me, Willie, you know, that usually in like commercial settings is where they use more of like the really high level polished concrete.
Right, yeah, definitely in commercial, you know, like if you go to your local Sam's, Walmart, Home Depot, you know, they'll have the highest level of polished concrete just because it lasts so long. It's proven to last decades, very high impact resistant. There's, you know, you can use a lot of heavy machinery traffic in and out, and, you know, it's still gonna last and stay the same.
Because all you're doing is just grinding it down. It's kind of like grabbing your skin and you just...
Right, so you're grinding it down so fine and so like tight together.
Yeah.
That, you know, it creates that shine on top, and so the more tighter it is, you know, it's sealed and just has a stronger.
Do you still seal? Do you still add some sort of a sealing on top, like to enhance the shininess, or?
Yeah, a little bit. So the sealer that they install for polished concrete is not the same as what you see in polyurea, epoxy, or grind and seal. This type of sealer is different. This one actually like fully penetrates into the concrete and it creates a chemical reaction and seals all the pores that were opened up. So there's no mold, no water seepage, no oil or.
So like if I spilled oil or something here,
it's just gonna sit on top, and you can
you
can just squeegee it right out. Yeah. That's how good this is.
What a sales pitch!
What a sales pitch!
Wow.
Now, moving on to the polished concrete. This was a special project. This is level 3 polished concrete. Again, we really grind it now down to make it shine. The price comes out to
So I'm assuming, I know the answer, but I just want to,
Yeah,
for the audience at home.
for the audience at home.
So you said there's different levels. I'm assuming it's kind of like a sandpaper, like, when you're, you
yeah.
go through and it's like you got higher grits, right? And that way it gets more finer. And I'm assuming that's how you get to the higher levels. So obviously gonna be more expensive, to get into those higher levels because it's more passes on top of the concrete. You gotta keep grinding
work,
it down.
keep grinding it
Exactly.
down.
Keep grinding, switching the blades on the grinder. By the way, because it's so hard sometimes, like the trial finish that we typically use for metal buildings, that one's so hard to grind. Well, any concrete is, so that's why we use diamond in the
Equipment. Which is the same still like grinding that we do like for polyura, polyspartic, epoxy. So, well, it's polyura. We still got to grind it down. We don't just come in and just
No.
top. So same type of grinding that is done there. This is just going to a higher level of just keep grinding. And you can, from the B-rolls, you can see the aggregates that are just coming out and that you can see. And even there, like you're gonna see some of the imperfections come out from what was under the trowel finish, right?
Right, so there's a lot of, that's one thing you gotta keep in mind with polished concrete. It will bring out some imperfections from the actual finish whenever you pour the slab.
Yeah.
Like here we see a little bit of a blowout, but this is normal. All we do here is we get a patch that, and then patch it over, grind it down, and then we go over it with a light gray stain so it can match the rest of the color. And then we put a top coat of sealer on it. That way it can, if you touch it,
It just feels the same.
It feels the same all over.
It feels the same all over. What I like about it though, it just looks very like rustic, very, like I love it. Like I actually like these little imperfections because it makes the rustic stuff of
That's
kind
the
of
whole
like
point.
like wood.
Right, and that's the whole point of polished concrete is to, aside from all the other coatings, you want to get the original concrete finish exposed.
Willie, could I come back? This is level 3. Could I come back in the future and level 4 it?
You can, but since it's already, the sealer's already in there, you got to it's more work to take off the sealer. Take off the sealer and then you have to go through the whole process again, not just go straight to what it would take to level 4 while you're doing it. You got to start all over basically. I did want to mention that drain over there.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
We got a competition here between concrete and building. Who's doing a better job? Leave it in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want to create that, but it feels like the
Leave it in the comments.
Ford versus Chevy.
Yeah, go ahead and leave it in the comments. So here we created a drain.
Okay.
I guess he has a water faucet here. You don't notice it, but there's actual slope going all around this drain. That way, when you open this up, this floods a little bit. You can squeegee, mop it into there, and that is what comes out. That's the whole point. We showed on the outside, on the back wall, and it'll come out through there.
I didn't notice it was open. That you can also install it in the middle in case like they have like a boat or something like that.
Right, or you use for example, you can use your metal building to open up your own car wash or detailing business.
That makes sense.
We could put it in the middle and slope it all towards the middle.
And lastly, Pac, the total turnkey cost of this entire building. Again, this doesn't include the site prep number. This doesn't include all the deeper footings. That is very custom to your specific project. But the turnkey cost of this entire building that includes everything we just mentioned. Again, the building, the insulation, the gutter system, doors and windows, concrete, labor, and tax. I hope that this gives you an idea on what the cost of this project is. This pricing is valid for 5 days after posting and may vary based on location and wind load requirements and special details. Alrighty, Pac, so I hope you enjoyed this video because this was so much. This beautiful interior panel, the polished concrete, the beautiful garage door, and definitely just in general, it's a simplistic, minimalistic metal building with a lot of different details that just makes it stand out. And any final comments?
This is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Right, with everything put together.
Everything put together.
From the slab to the interior to the exterior, door, everything.
So it is one of my favorites too. but I've just seen so many. It's just very hard, and I don't want to. You know, I have a really good relationship with some of our clients, and I don't want to say, you know. Jared, any final comments?
I think it was a really great building. The thing is it has so many things packed into a small space. You know,
Small space.
I mean, it's a 1,500 square foot building, but
Yeah.
you know, there's so many details into it. The glass door here, the glass door, the interior. You know, it's everything, and I think that's what makes it really stand out. And the only thing is, you know, like we were talking about, if you're just, you know, showing up and it was just the, you know, building on the outside and the glass door, you think, okay,
Yeah.
the glass door is really nice. Building's, you know, pretty basic. Then you walk in and then you see all the little details. That's
Yeah.
what makes it pop.
Makes it pop. So, alrighty guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out part 1 where we actually talked about this whole foundation, all the work that we did, and the drama that happened. It's just a little story about what happened. And guys, well, let's head back to full work, man.
Let's go. I'm hungry too.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
What's up, Pack? Remember to stay up to date with everything that we're up to by checking out our social media. You can find us at WolfSteel Buildings for behind the scenes action. We share our latest projects, update on what the team is working on, and all the exciting progress happening in real time. Don't miss out on the action, and remember to give us a follow.
Mr. Murray, here's a gift from the WolfSteel.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'll definitely have it on one of my walls here.